You receive a Slack message, followed by an urgent email, and a tap on the shoulder for a quick favor. In modern, matrixed organizations, professionals are constantly buried under an avalanche of cross-functional demands. If you are stepping into your first corporate role, you might assume that agreeing to every single request proves your dedication and teamwork. In reality, chronic overcommitment forces you to divide your attention into smaller and smaller fractions. You miss deadlines, the quality of your output drops, and the very reputation you are trying to build begins to fracture. This chart compares two behaviors. The red line represents those saying yes indiscriminately. Their productivity drops off a cliff from burnout. In contrast, employees who selectively decline requests see productivity increase by 26%. Warren Buffett observed this dynamic perfectly. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Strategic refusal protects your professional bandwidth, ensuring your limited energy remains focused on the specific, high-value tasks that define your reputation. To filter out low-value distractions without creating workplace friction, we can use an engineered communication sequence known as the PAN method. This is a repeatable three-step framework. The PAN method has 3 steps. First, prioritize by mapping requests against existing deadlines. Second, offer alternatives. Redirect momentum by suggesting a colleague or partial solution. Finally, use not right now framing. Time-based language softens the decline while keeping professional doors open. A blunt no creates immediate conflict and resentment. But running that same refusal through the PAN protocol turns a potential clash into a collaborative problem session. People usually break this system in 3 specific ways. They over-explain their reasons, inviting the other person to argue. They apologize excessively, which signals guilt, or leave the timeline totally vague, leaving the requester confused. By stripping out the apologies and the over-explanations, you transform a panic-inducing confrontation into a calm, objective negotiation of your capacity. The mechanics of the PAN system work at every level of a company, but the exact phrasing you use has to be calibrated to your specific rank and the corporate hierarchy. Entry-level employees are in a uniquely vulnerable position. If a fresher bluntly pushes back against a senior manager, they risk being labeled as lazy, uncooperative, or uncommitted to the team's success. To navigate this, early career professionals can use the "let me confirm" buffer. When a supervisor drops a surprise task on your desk, simply saying, "let me check my schedule and confirm by the end of the day," creates the time needed to assess the request and avoids an impulsive, panic-driven yes. On the other end of the spectrum, C-suite executives face an entirely different set of stakes. When a senior leader fails to filter out bad requests, the consequences scale across the entire enterprise, resulting in bloated budgets, missed organizational targets, and completely deflated department morale. Executives often have to deal with legacy stakeholders pushing unrealistic demands. The strategy here is the diplomatic redirect. Rather than saying an initiative is impossible, a leader proposes a strategic alternative that still achieves the stakeholders' core goal without derailing the current sprint. To do this effectively, leaders weaponize objective velocity data. By pointing to current output metrics, they depersonalize the refusal. They aren't saying no out of preference. They're using hard data to actively shield their team's bandwidth from destructive scope creep. Whether you are protecting your own daily task list or defending an enterprise-level budget, strategically limiting access to your time is one of the highest expressions of professional leadership. You can test this framework today. Look at your current list of commitments, identify 2 low-value tasks that are draining your time, and use the PAN method to renegotiate them. This diagram illustrates how to adjust your approach. Use a soft, flexible tone with peers on low-stakes issues. Move to an assertive tone for client and cross-team requests, and reserve a strict, firm tone for absolute boundary violations. It is always better to face a moment of awkwardness now than to fail later. Saying yes to a project and then failing to deliver destroys professional trust far more permanently than an upfront, well-engineered decline. Setting boundaries is an offensive tool. It is the only reliable mechanism we have to convert the overwhelming chaos of modern work into focused, high-quality output. Every well-placed no reinforces your professional credibility and strengthens your working relationships. actively building the foundation for a long-term, successful career.